Hey everybody, welcome to the playthrough of Deep Madness. So if you're not familiar with the game, this is a sort of Bioshock meets Call of Cthulhu type of scenario. Your little band of heroes over here are trapped in a deep sea mining thing that has been basically invaded by aliens. Sort of similar to Half-Life or the movie Aliens, and there's definitely a lot of sort of Aliens theme bleeding in here. And you play through a series of scenarios trying to escape and defeat this mysterious sphere entity that's causing a lot of these things to happen. So I'm playing the first scenario, and here you are on the left side of the map, and you're trying to get to 3 of these clues that, if you can get to all of them, will let you get all the way to the right side of the map and basically escape from the area if you can get all 3 clues to the red objective on the right side there. So the book determines how the map is set up. You start with some rooms on their red devoured side, which means first of all they can spawn enemies from these little spawn points. This is from the Kickstarter bonuses. Usually you'll just have tokens for these. And devoured rooms also have negative devoured effects on other rooms. Generally, if you end your turn there, like here, I would have to discard one of my inventory items if I end in that space. You've also got non-devoured rooms to start out, the ones that just look kind of white. A lot of rooms, because we are in the water, are underwater, which will mean that you could drown in them. There's a cool oxygen mechanic we'll get into. And also you can't get line of sight from water to dry areas and vice versa. And movement and everything is pretty simple. You'll see things are divided by these little white lines. So those are distinct areas that you can move in for like one movement space. You do have walls in some places. So here, this is a room. You can only come in from this side, not from there. If you have a door on either side, it's an open hatchway. So I can go from there to there, but I can't go from here to here, for example. Yeah. So let me show you the character setup and who I've chosen for the mission. Okay, so here we've got our 4 investigators. The game's played with 4 to 6 investigators, so even playing solo like I am, you still have at least 4 characters. You'll see they have a health value. Randy Carter has 7 health, 5 maximum sanity, 4 escape value. We'll get to what all these things mean later. She has a once per turn ability, and she has a special ability she can spend sanity to use. She starts with a flashlight. You can hold 4 of these gear cards, and this one just gives her +2 escape, so she's really 6 escape right now. Each character also has a nice little bio about what she's doing in this undersea mission, and they all have their own little oxygen counter that slowly counts down from 6 to 0, and then you start drowning, you're taking damage, go too far, and you are dead. So I've got Randy, who's good at investigating, definitely going to be useful here where I have to find these clues. I've got Jared Drake, who gets +1 combat die whenever he attacks, and he starts with a nice little pistol. 9 health, 4 sanity, 5 escape. And suppressing fire, he can basically spend sanity to shoot back at people when they attack him. Just kind of show you what a weapon looks like real quick. They generally have a special power. In this case, he's more accurate when he's attacking somebody in his space. This is range. He can shoot 2 spaces away. Combat dice, he rolls 2. They hit on a 4 or more, and each hit does 1 damage. So, pretty simple little system there. Got Samuel Smith, the leader of the operation. He's got a bunch of health, 10, only 3 sanity though, 4 escape. Confronting the darkness, he can move 1 guy toward him to bring them into range maybe, so 1 monster per turn. And then No One Left Behind, this is a great ability. He can spend sanity to bring somebody with him, basically carry them over his shoulder, and also escape from enemies. And he starts with lovely submachine gun. Not as accurate as Jared's pistol, but rolls 5 dice, so has a much better chance of maybe doing a lot of damage all at once. Last character we have is Roman Asimov, this biochemist. So he can reduce monsters' resistance, basically their armor, and can also spend sanity to reduce it even further for everybody attacking them. So he's cool at piercing armor. And again, they've all got their own individual oxygen things. Okay, let's take a look at the enemies. So these are enemy cards and the investigator activations. So I'll note that I drew 6 randomly out of 8 that come with the base game, not counting these epic monsters that are super tough, and the game is hard enough as it is. Each of them, though, has a bunch of stats that are important. So first of all, this is their horror rating, which determines how easy it is for them to break through doors, and also how many rewards or penalties you get when you kill them. Amount of damage they do, 2, and range they attack at. So this guy's a ranged creature. Most of them only have range 0. And this is to kill them. They've got 1 resistance, basically armor again, which is subtracted from every attack, and 3 health. And this is their AI, their little activation. So most monsters will only move 1 space a turn, some will move 2. So this guy moves 1, does a special ability, and then attacks if he's at 1 range of somebody. So his special is he pulls somebody, or has a chance to pull somebody into his space if they're 1 range away. And most monsters also have a devoured ability, which means they have a special ability when they're on one of those red devoured rooms. In this case, if you try to move away from him to escape him, he does a wound to you. And then finally, this is their trap rating, which is opposed by the hero's escape rating. So, for example, Roman Asimov, if he was in a space with 2 or more delirium, he could not escape because their 2 times 2, 4, is equal to or greater than his escape value. So he would be stuck in that room until he defeated some of them. Also have a Putrid. This is a 2 horror monster, so a lot tougher. Also attacks at range, lots of health, moves and attacks. When he attacks, he might make you discard one of your search cards, and when you hurt him, if you're in his space, he gets sprayed with some acid blood if you're on a corrupted space. So, lovely guy there. Twisted, another big 2 horror monster. Tons of life and armor, really tough to kill. No ranged attack, though. He moves and attacks, and he can drive you insane with his attacks. And if he's in a corrupted space, he does have range 1. So, actually, I guess I have a lot of range guys here. Hysteria is an interesting one. They don't actually have an attack value, but they move twice, and then when they would attack, they instead possess the investigator, which means they actually go on your character, and then until you attack them, and they basically count as though they were still in your space, they will attack you every turn for 2 damage automatically, ignoring your armor. So, yeah, they're not very nice guys. We got Agony, which they move 1, they attack for 2 damage, no range. Very easy to kill, but they spawn pretty quickly. And when they attack you, they can either make you take a wound, an extra wound, or paralyze if you roll a certain result. Paralyze means you lose your next action. And our last one is Ravenous. Also moves 2. Pretty easy to kill, although if they're on a corrupted space, they have some armor. Doesn't do much damage, but they take away your defense when they attack, and again, they spawn really quickly too. So just by random chance, because this is their activation order, we have all our biggins on the left activating early, and then our little kind of more mobby guys on the right. Now I also have a card for each of the characters. Since I'm not playing with 6 heroes, I get 2 kind of blank skip cards, and I shuffle those up, and these are linked together. So Samuel will take a turn, then Deliriums will take a turn. Nobody, Putrids will take a turn. Jared will take a turn, Twisted will take a turn. You kind of go like that. And then at the end of every turn, you're going to move this card to the left and slide everything over. But the monsters never move, so initiative changes up slightly, but you kind of have the same basic order the entire game. Now let's quickly talk about the turn limit on the game. So every turn, this little corruption marker, and again this is a Kickstarter extra, this nice one, is going to move. The number here will tell you how many spawn cards you're going to draw. So some turns it's mostly going to be 3s and 2s. This symbol means I corrupt a room. So one of these nice light rooms is going to turn to the red side and start spawning monsters. And then these little symbols are scenario dependent, but in this case we're drowning, so we're going to slowly be losing oxygen until we run out completely and basically die horribly at this point. So you have a certain number of turns, and things will escalate pretty quickly as the turns go on. Okay, so let's quickly go over how a turn works. First, you have the Devour phase. Basically, I'm going to draw... I have cards representing the rooms that are white, nice side, and I'm going to draw one and devour that room. And then we have spawning, where we spawn guys equal to the current value of the spawn value. We have the activation phase. That's where we alternate activating enemies and investigators, as I already mentioned. Refresh phase, we move the investigators and refresh anything that got exhausted, and we do the whole thing again. During the activation phase, you have a bunch of actions. We'll get into those when we're actually playing. So let's jump in with the first round of the game and do our Devour phase. So here's a nice kind of long view of the entire thing. So we're all starting over here. We want to get to these 3 clues here and then get them all the way over to here. And man, I have not won yet. We'll see how this game goes. So we're going to take one of our room cards. Again, the face down ones represent the rooms that are not corrupted. And the face up ones with a 2 on top represent the ones that are corrupted. We'll see how that all works in a second. So I'm going to corrupt room 28. So that goes on top of the deck. 28 goes on top of the deck. I'm going to take it here. I'm just going to flip it so it's still in the same orientation, but it's on its corrupted side. I add a spawn token to the room that I want, so let's put it further away from us. And then I have to add spawn tokens to every other room. So in this case, I'm getting one that makes our resistance weaker in that room. And now 28 stays on top, which means it's going to be the first thing to spawn. So now I spawn. I'm on the 3 space over here. So I'm going to draw 3 spawn cards. And each of them will tell me what type of enemy spawns and how many. And we're going to use the corruption deck. So 28 is going to get monsters first, and then we'll go through from there. So first spawn card is 3 Ravenous. So the circle is how many rooms spawn. So if there had been like 2 circles here, it would be 2 different rooms. So 3 Ravenous, all in 28. So, God, that's a lot of guys right at the start. So we got 1, 2, 3, right there. Lord help us. Move the 28 to the back, revealing a 2. And we got the Ravenous. So now, this one is 3 separate rooms, each get 1 agony. So an agony is going to 2, 12, and 8. And notice that I'm preserving the order, so this is kind of like going to be the order forever. 2, 12, and 8 each get an agony. So here we go, 1 in 12, 1 down here in 2, and 1 all the way up here. You can't even see him, but there he is in 8. Okay, and then our last one is 20, and it's 1 big twisted monster. Oh man, this one's pretty terrible. The twisted is going right on our starting room, right on our starting space. I know that 20 did go to the bottom of the deck, so I'm going to spawn in 15 next turn. And the twisted is actually the 3rd guy to activate, and he's really tough to kill, so unfortunately he's going to attack some of my guys. I could maybe try to run away from him, but and we'll see how things go. Okay, so now we go into the activation phase. Going to note that Sam is activating first. We don't have any deliriums. We don't have any putrids. And then Jared will activate, and the Twisted will activate. So if I want to kill him, I've got 2 chances to mow him down before he attacks us. And then the rest of these guys can run before the Agonies and Ravenous activate. So, except for the Twisted, I've got kind of a full activation of my guys. So let's look at what Samuel's going to do. So when you're playing with 6 heroes, everyone just gets 3 actions, but when you have fewer heroes, you get a few of these extra action tokens, and each one gets assigned randomly. So we'll say Samuel gets a 2, and Roman gets 1 extra action, Jared gets 2 extra actions, and Randy gets 1 extra action. So Samuel, my first guy to go, actually has 5 actions this turn, not just 3. Actions he can take: he can move 1 space, he can attack somebody in range with his submachine gun, he can search, which just means he draws a new equipment card. You can only do that once per turn, no matter how many actions you have. He can trade with people in his space. He can rest or recover his sanity. He can lock a hatch or fix it to basically close a door on monsters. And he can also use other actions that are on his components. So we can either stay there with the Twisted, or we can escape from him. I think I'm going to have Samuel carry at least one of my guys away and just leave the Twisted to attack us once, and then hopefully we can kind of run away from him a bit. So Samuel is, let's see, Jared's going to activate on his own, so I'm going to carry Randy out of there because she has the least health. So I'll go 1, and whenever I use an ability, I'm gaining a sanity token, and Samuel can only have 3 sanity tokens. So once he's carried her 3 times, he'll be out of sanity. So 2... bring her in here into the water. Actually, before I bring her into the water, let's go ahead and draw an equipment card. So I'll do a search, and I get Ore Cutter, which is a pretty good melee weapon. Rolling 2 dice, hitting on 5, but if I hit, 4 damage for each hit. So if I got both hits, that'd be 8 damage all by itself. The difference between melee and range only hits one person at a time, but of course it can be at range. Melee attacks everyone in your space, and you can divide the damage up as you choose, which is pretty nice. So Samuel's got an Ore Cutter. So he carried once, he got an Ore Cutter. He's going to carry again, that's his third action, takes another sanity. And carry another time, that's his fourth action, he's out of sanity. And then he'll run back out, leaving Randy in there to investigate for his fifth action. Now, how this works is every time you perform an action, any action except rest while you're in one of these flooded rooms, your oxygen counts down 1. So here, moving into the room didn't affect him at all. But in here, he moved once there, takes me down to 5, and moved once back out there, takes me down to 4. Now, how oxygen works is if you can end your turn in a space with no water, you get your oxygen all the way back up to its max to 6. But until then, I'm going to slowly be getting closer to drowning. So Sam is down to 4, but since he was carrying Randy, she hasn't lost any oxygen, so she's going to really have a nice time investigating. Okay, we don't have any deliriums yet, and we don't have any putreds yet, so we're going right to Jared Drake's turn. Jared also got a 2, so he's got 5 actions this turn. He'll also go ahead and investigate to try to get something better than his pistol. Ooh, assault rifle. Oh, this is great for him since he is good with guns. So, he's got 3 range and 4 dice, almost as good as the submachine gun. Hits on a 4+, same as his pistol. 1 damage each. And special ability, he can reroll all of his attack dice once. But he has to reroll all of them. So that's a great draw for him. I'm really happy about that. I could even potentially attack the Twisted, but man, he's got 2 armor all by himself. I think Roman, who can remove resistance of monsters, is going to have the best chance against that guy. So it was 1 action to search. 2, 3, 4. And he's going to be helping Randy to investigate. So in this scenario, and this is a scenario-specific thing, 1 action will try to put a success token on this. And once it has 3 success tokens, we've solved the mystery of this token, and we can pick it up to bring it to the end of the mission. So I roll this die, and I'm looking for a success symbol, which is only on the 5 or the 6. The rest just have numbers. So this is my 5th action. And I will note, by the way, I moved in water, and then I investigated once in water, so I'm down to 4 oxygen for Jared. And I missed. Now, you can, anytime you roll a die in the game, anytime at all, you can always spend a sanity to try again. So, I'm going to spend 1. I'm going to spend another 1. Going to spend another 1. Jared, by the way, has 4 maximum sanity, so he's got 1 more chance after this. And going to spend my last sanity. Well, that was not great. So it was only 1 action, so I'm not drowning more, but I am out of sanity now. I have all 4 sanity on my card, although 1 rest action will remove all that sanity, and additionally doesn't make me drown more. So that's the one nice thing. You can get your sanity back pretty quickly. Okay, we're going now to the Twisted. There's only 1 on the board, and he is sitting with Roman Asimov. So he moves, but they won't move because they always go toward the nearest investigator, and you get to decide if there's a tie. He just stays with Roman, and he attacks for 2 damage. So for enemies, damage is automatic. You just have a chance to resist it. The standard resistance roll is 2 dice unless you have armor or something that boosts it. And each success I get, that 5 or 6 result, cancels 1 of the damage. So Roman has 2 damage coming towards him. And he cancels 1 of it, so he's only getting 1 damage. His max damage is 9, so he's doing okay. And then the Twisted has a special attack power. I roll the 12-sided die with all these different symbols on it. And if I get an I get a madness card. If I don't get an I just take 1 madness automatically. So, see, I got teeth, so that's good. So I'm just getting a madness token. So just to show you Roman's effects, he's got 1 damage out of 9, and he's got 1 madness token. So sanity and madness kind of go together. Sanity can become madness when you kill a monster. Basically, for each horror of the monster, you flip it over to a madness. Now, it does not affect my max sanity. I can still have 5 sanity on my character in this case, even though the madness is here. But every time you get 3 madness, you discard them all, and you get one of these madness cards that usually has a pretty bad permanent effect on your character or on the monsters. Okay, we're next going to activate Randy, and then there's no Asterias. We'll get Roman, and then the Agony and the Ravenous will do their thing. Now, Randy has no weapons to start out, just a flashlight that makes it easier for her to escape. She has very low health, but great sanity, so she can re-roll a lot. She's got 4 actions this turn. And her ability is, once per activation, I may perform a free investigate or search, although she still can't do more than 1 search around. And she can also take sanity from other investigators, so basically since she has such a high sanity, she can help them to recover more quickly, which can be kind of nice. So, I'm going to be investigating with her, and she gets a free investigate action, which I will note still costs her oxygen, but doesn't cost her one of her 4 actions for the turn. Okay, so she's going to try to investigate the same clue. Hopefully she'll have better luck than Jared did. So it is her free investigate. She still has 4 actions after this. Hey, first try. So she puts one of these success tokens, and once there's 3, we can pick that up. So that was a free action. She's got 4 left, and her action counts down. Second, oh my gosh, loving this a lot. Makes up for Jared's terrible showing. So that's her first real action, and she counts down to 4 oxygen. She's got 3 actions left. Here's her second action. Oh my gosh! So she is done, and she is at 3 oxygen. Now, I could have her pick it up, but in this scenario, each character can only hold 1 clue. So I'd kind of rather Jared get it, because she's really good at investigating. She's probably going to be doing a lot of the rest of it on her own. So I'm going to start moving her towards oxygen. I've got 2 options there. I can either run back over here, but that'll make me discard a search card, and also won't actually move me towards success. Or I can run over this way, but oh my gosh, there are 3 of these guys, and they move 2 spaces. So if I get within 2 of them, they are going to mob and destroy me. All right, so she did her free investigate and 2 more investigate, so she's got 2 actions left. So she's going to walk 1, 2, and she's going to be down to 1 life. And she will use her ability to take a sanity from both Jared and Samuel, meaning they don't have to rest quite as quickly, because again, she can have 5 and then get rid of all of it with 1 rest action. So she's pretty good, but down to 1 oxygen, so she's going to start potentially taking some damage from drowning pretty soon. Okay, we have no Hysterias, so we go right to Roman's turn before we have both our fast enemies act. So Roman is still stuck with this twisted guy, and he has 4 actions. Now, his special ability is, first of all, whenever he attacks, he takes away 1 resistance of the monster automatically. But additionally, he can spend sanity to place these little tokens of his on monsters, and they have -1 resistance for everybody until that monster is killed. Great little ability. So in this case, he has no weapons right now, so I'm going to do a search action first and hope I get lucky. Maybe get something to kill this guy with. Injection gun. Action. Exhaust X sanity to heal X wounds from an investigator in your space. Ah, man, this is not really what I wanted. Not much combat potential here. Has 1 range, 1 dive attack, hits out of 3 or more for 2 damage. That's not too bad. But it's mainly a healing item, and this guy has 5 life and 2 resistance. So I think I'm just going to run away, even though that's going to let this guy probably get another attack on me. So that was 1 action for him. He's got 3 left. I'll go 1, 2, 3. So wait, it was 1 search, 1, 2, 3. So that's his entire turn. And he moved once when he was in water, so he's just down to 5 oxygen. So he's doing pretty well there. Now, additionally, I can go ahead and put these tokens on people. So I could do the Twisted, but I think we're all going to get out of there after he attacks us one more time. Then he only moves 1 space a turn, so we should have a little while. I could put it on these guys. They only have armor, though, when they're in a corrupted space, and they're about to move into an uncorrupted space, so I don't think I really need it. Now, I could put it on these guys. They do have 1 armor, but they're also pretty easy to kill. So, well, I mean, I have the sanity, so I'm going to go ahead and spend it. So I'll put 1 on this guy. I think I'll stop there. So I'll just do 1 sanity to make one of those guys not have any armor, one of our agonies. Okay, so finally we're going to activate our agonies and then our ravenous. Agonies move 1, attack at 0 range, but can make you take extra damage. And then Ravenous move twice and can take away your resistance, your chance to defend against them. So let's just run through both of those. It should be pretty quick. Alright, so again, monsters will move towards the most direct path, but I can choose in case of ties. So these guys can go 1, 2, 3 to reach us there, or 1, 2, 3 to reach us there. I could have them split up. I could have them all go the same way. And they each move 2. So I'm thinking my guys might end up here next turn to get out of their oxygen depletion. So if I send these guys up here, then they'll just run right back and basically waste their activation if we could all end our turn there. And they're the last ones to act. So we're going to move them up here with the intention of kind of running past them and not fighting them yet. And then each of the agonies only move 1. So this guy I took away the resistance of. We'll go over there. And these guys are just coming down the hallway, aren't going to be in the action for quite a while, which is totally fine with me. Okay, so then I go to the refresh phase. If I had activated any exhaustible abilities, I would now refresh them. But the big thing is I slide Samuel from the front all the way to the back, and everyone else sets up. That means that Jared and Randy are going to act before the Twisted today. Unfortunately, Samuel's the one standing right next to it, so he's probably going to get hit by it. And then Roman's a little bit earlier, and we'll still always have these Ravenous being last. So that's one whole turn of the game.